everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my October wrap up. How are you guys? How was your October? I want to hear all about your Halloween plans, costumes, your kids' costumes, what activities you did. Also how your writing went. Are you guys prepping up? Are you doing NaNoWriMo or a version of it? I want to know all about your prep. If so, what you did in October to get ready for Nano. And I just want to chat. I'm feeling very chatty today. So tell me all about your lives. How's it going? Give me the hot goss. I had a lot of life stuff happening because October is always a busy month. But unfortunately, I didn't really have too much writing stuff going on. And I feel like that's kind of why I feel like I'm in a funk right now. And I'm kind of sad. And I think that's why I just want to chat with you guys. So anyways, let's go ahead and dive into writing. I think before we get into the meat of it all, of my saddy sads, I want to talk about some cute stuff. So I've been doing this my own little personal project thing, right? With the glass witch. At my launch party, I had everyone who came, you know, sign and use it kind of just like as a little logbook. Well, I recently started seeing people do artistic personalized copies of their favorite books. And I was like, oh, I want to do that, obviously, with my own book. So I started taking the glass witch and turning her into a little bit of a scrapbook. And it's been such a fun time. So I've got like little pages where I've used paint markers and I printed out some fan art pictures. Some of the pages I decided to do theme spreads. Like this one was about like how I got my agent with the email and then the Twitter announcement and my YouTube thumbnail. I took a fall walk and decided to press some leaves in the pages. The first time we get the villain's POV, I did a little scrapbook page for that. Like I've just been having fun with it. And ooh, I forgot to show you too, the embossed part on the front I painted. So, you know, I've just been doing things with it, and it's been fun when I'm listening to audiobooks to do little pages, or when I just need a break or whatever. My idea for this is that by the time I'm 80, this entire book is going to be covered in thoughts and moments and pictures of people that I love. Like I have in my acknowledgements page, I printed out pictures of everybody that I thanked, and I'm going to make like a collage in there. My dedication page, that's to my mama, I'm going to have like a collage of me and her in there. Eventually, I want to annotate the entire book and tab it up just for me, just for fun thoughts, and do things like that. I also colored one of my coloring pages and stuck it in there. Like it's bringing me joy. And since it's a book that takes place on Halloween, it was the perfect October activity book. So that's the first writing thing. And then speaking of the coloring sheets, I did host a coloring contest on my Patreon. It was so fun. I have a couple submissions that I'm going to show you guys. It was cool to see everyone's different takes on the books. I loved it. If you're wanting some of the coloring pages for yourself or your kids, they are available on Patreon, and I have a link down below. Now let's talk about the projects that I actively worked on this month. I am kind of sad because I didn't do that much writing stuff this month, and I'm starting to accept the fact that I'm probably not going to hit my writing goal of finishing a first draft of something by the end of the year. I'm really trying hard not to be sad about it because it's so silly. I've had such an amazing productive year and such a year of growth and learning that like the fact that I didn't get one writing goal is like, even though here's the thing, I'm like, oh, I didn't get one writing goal, but it was a big goal. I had like 2 goals, and that was get Project Pyro ready and then write something new. And so I only like got half of it done, and I have to learn to be okay with that, I think, especially when it's not like I'm not achieving this goal because I just decided to be lazy and not do it. I decided not to achieve this goal because I'm making smarter decisions. Okay, because here's the thing. Here's all my current work in progresses, and here's where we are. The main one, Project Pyro, my disabled rage thriller YA book. This is kind of my main at the forefront project right now. My agent has read it and she has sent me revision notes. This is the first time she's seen it. I did have my critique partner read it. So 2 people now gotten revisions from both, did my critique partner's revisions, and now in November my goal is going to be to do Samantha, my agent's revisions. And I had time to go over those revisions just a tiny bit at the end of October, and I printed out Samantha's edit letter. It was 5 pages and it was really, really great. I think I'm gonna have more about this in a video, so I won't go into it that much here. But basically, she wants some clarity of some things that were just things that were in my brain, but I didn't get on page correctly to let the reader know what was going on. So that's the main part of the revision. And then the other part is like beefing up and making sure that my villains are super, super well-rounded and that we fully understand their motivations. To be able to address that, I think I'm going to be adding in a few more breathing scenes where either, I don't know what they are yet. I still need to brainstorm them, but it's something where these villains are going to have more time to see more facets of their personality, understand them a little bit better. Maybe if I can write it in a way to like even make the reader kind of like empathize for them or feel something for them, because I always love that. I love when I see a villain and I'm like, you know what? I don't agree with it, but I get it. That's what I want to work on. So a lot of my month has just been kind of brainstorming these revisions, seeing how I want to take it. And I even sent some questions back to Samantha for some clarity and some brainstorming with her. So yeah, that was basically Project Pyro. And then we have Bitter Bones. I've officially gotten my copy edits now. I did not get them in October. I got them like the very 1st of November, but this feeds into what I'm going to talk about later. We'll put a pin in that and come back to it. Third project, When the Sea Came for Us. Okay, we left off that I had written 3 chapters and I had sent it to some betas and my critique partners just because I needed someone to tell me I didn't suck and help me see if the 3rd person POV was working and just get overall feelers. I actually ended up sending it to my agent too. So here's the thing, Samantha's great. Samantha sells a lot of romance. She also sells quite a bit of romantasy. So she knows what she's doing in this genre shift way more than I do. I just sent her my pitch, I sent her my synopsis, and I sent her my first 3 chapters that I had revised, you know, with all my friends. And I was like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this even viable? Is this something I should look into? Like, you know, I know we're working on the YA thriller, but like, could a YA romantasy or an adult romantasy be something that we could look at together? Like, just basically getting the feeler for how she felt about it. And God love her, she was super into it. And I was like, thank God, this book is so weird. And I'm like, I'm so glad that she's on board, which I should have known, because like, if she stuck with me through the odds, if you can read the odds and you get it and you're not like weirded out, like then you're okay. You're okay with me. This is dark and it's weird, but I should have known. I should have had faith that she was amazing, because she got the odds. She would get this. I have not yet had the strength to tell her about Grandmother's Guide for High Stakes Adventuring, my Grandma Garden Gnome Adventure D&D satire. One day in the future, I hope to become the woman who is brave enough to do so. So anyways, When the Sea Came for Us, I sent to Samantha. She read it and she really liked it. She was like, this is so fun and fresh, and she liked the like curse disability angle that I have on this book. Oh, I didn't even say what it was about. I'll link videos below. It's too much to get into. But I'm writing a YA rewriting of old book that I failed in the queer trenches with. And that's this book. It's fantasy, it's mermaids, romantasy, pirates, who knows. Anyway, I just started my romantasy journey and I've been like really into it lately. Like some of the books that I found that I love, I like really love. I can't wait to talk to you about them in the reading section. But anyway, that's for later. But what I love in this genre, right? But what I also love is like some horror and some like high fantasy. So I'm like, yeah, what if we had this be like dark romantasy, or even, dare I say, horror romantasy? And I wanted to see what Samantha thought of that, and she was like, oh yeah, like we can definitely make this work, like blah blah blah. And I was like, oh thank God. I was getting nervous. But you guys, it made me feel so good, because I sent this all to her and then she got really excited and she had a whole bunch of questions for me, and we started chatting about like the rest of the series, and she had questions. She's like, where did the main character and the love interest end up in the end? Like, I'm just so like excited to learn. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then she started talking about the rest of the series, and I was like, I didn't even mention it to her that I saw it as like a series, but she's like, oh, it's gonna be a series, like, right, like you've got to keep writing this. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, it was like really exciting just to be able to talk with her and just to feel better, first of all, about the book itself, and then with the horror edge to it. Yeah, I think it's exciting. She was saying, she's like, I'm not seeing a ton of horror fantasy, but it might be like a burgeoning new genre, so maybe we could like catch in on that like right on time if it does, like if the bubble breaks and it like becomes a thing. I'm like, oh, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. Trendsetter Lindsay. But anyway, so that was a small thing. It really was just like a couple emails between me and her back and forth, and I think like a phone call or something, and it just felt good. It made me feel better about the state of the project and it being something that I might draft next year, you know, like that's exciting to me. But okay, that was all of the projects on the table, right? So When This Came for Us, Project Pyro, and Bitter Bones. And I've got about 6 weeks left to work until I'm like, it's Christmas time, baby, I'm a slug. And feasibly trying to draft something brand new, even When the Sea Came for Us before the end of the year, is just like, absolutely not. Like I have too much respect for myself to do something like that to myself. And I had to make the decision early October to be like, okay, I probably could get a really crappy first draft of something if I took all of October and all of November and a bit of December and got a first draft of either Grandmother's Guide or When the Sea Came for Us, like whatever. I could do that. Or I could focus on getting a really good revision plan for Project Pyro and potentially going out on sub earlier in 2026 than I would have had I spent the rest of this year figuring out a first draft of something. I also could spend some time on When the Sea Came for Us and talking to my agent and getting a plan ready for what we can do with this, how we can market it, how I should plan my first draft given what she thinks about the current romantasy, dark fantasy, horror fantasy genre, right? So I had to make a decision, and I made the decision to work on current projects already in the work rather than starting something brand new. That was a really hard choice to make because I am a completionist. I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. When I say I'm gonna do something, I like to actually do it. And so I feel like I struggled all month being like, are we sure? Did we make the right decision? Should I just try to draft something really, really fast? And being like, oh, now there's only like 6 weeks left. Now there's only 5 weeks left. Now there's only 4 weeks left. Like, did I make the right decision? Can I just rush through a first draft in like 3 weeks? So it's fine. I'm doing better. I'm coming to terms with it. Spoiler alert for my life section, I'm also slowly weaning myself off of, with my doctor, like me and my doctor are weaning myself off of my anxiety medicine to see like how I do. Doing great, as you can see. So it's just been a time. And yeah, that was writing in October. The rest of my writing life in October was literally working on my publishing trends video. If you've never seen these before, these are quarterly videos that I do where I've collected all of the stats from all of the children's deal announcements over the past 3 months and analyze them, make charts, share the stats with you. And so we can, like, you know, keep up with publishing, see what's selling, what's not selling, who's selling it, so on and so on. I love these videos. They take a lot of work, but I love them so much because I really think that, you know, it's so hard already to break into publishing. So anything that can give you the slightest bit of an edge, like, I'm all about. Another great resource that's going to be coming up soon actually is the How to Get a Publishing Deal conference hosted by Reezy. I'm actually going to be attending this conference myself because you know me, I'm a nosy Nancy and I love to keep up with everything publishing. And this is going to be a one-day online conference that's just going to talk about everything demystifying the path to publication. There are going to be agents and editors from houses you know and who have worked on books you love and recognize that will be live chatting about how Trad Pub works, what agents are currently looking for, and how indie presses fit into the current landscape. I'm not gonna lie, I got super pumped when I saw that one of the editors is the UK editor for Vera Wong's Unsolicited Guide for Murderers, which is like my everything. Like, that's one of my favorite books ever, and I'm totally using it as a comp for grandmother's guide. But she's going to be one of the guest speakers, and she's going to be talking about acquisitions, like what goes on when an editor falls in love with a book and how it's actually acquired, and like the behind the scenes. And I'm like, ugh. Give it to me. In each of the 4 panels, you'll be learning things like the differences between the different kinds of publishers and which ones are right for your path, and how to find publishers who accept non-agented submissions even, the roles of literary agents and the best practices for writing a query letter. Each panel will be followed by a Q&A, so if the agent or editor didn't touch on the question you have, you can ask it then. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Reezy classes. I took one last March with the How to Write a Novel course, and I mean, even though I'm on like my 5th book now, it's still really nice, and the speakers that they get, I feel like they always add something or they retexture something you already know so you can think about it differently. And yeah, there's just like always something to learn. So I really liked that course, so I can't wait for this one. I know that if you attend, you also get like a little imaginary goodie bag, which, like, who doesn't like a goodie bag, where you get a $25 off voucher for one of their editing services and the ebook for like how to write a query letter. The conference is going to be on Sunday, November 16th, 1 p.m. to 3 EST, but it does have replay available. So if you're like me, I'm going to be going on a writing retreat, which I'm so excited for. I'm still going to watch the replay when I get home, so I don't miss anything. The event price is $99 or included with your yearly learning membership, and the membership gives you access to all events and conferences like this for the entire year. If you're interested in 2 or more of the events throughout the year, it'd be worth your while. So if you feel like your manuscript is getting to the point where you're almost ready to start, you know, submitting it to publishers or agents, or if you don't know and you're looking for advice to see how close you actually are, you can sign up. I will have the link down below. In the month of October, I read a total of 9 books and I only DNF'd 1, which was so good. My total average rating, I think, was like a 3.5. So for the most part, I really enjoyed everything that I was reading. As you can see, I did reread The Glass Witch, of course. And hey, look. I know that as an artist, we're supposed to like hate our work and like never be able to see it again, and like it's cringe. And yes, even when I reread this, I see parts that I'm like, ooh, would like totally rewrite that. I don't care. I love this book. And you know what? I like rereading it every autumn. Every Halloween, it's kind of became a tradition that I listen to this book, and it's honestly brought me so much serotonin. And you know what? I wrote it for myself, so I think that's totally fine. If that makes me up my own butthole, if that makes me delusional, I don't care. I love my book. I'm gonna keep rereading it every Halloween. Two of my favorite books that I read in October are kind of like complete opposite ends of the spectrum and kind of like wild too. So the first one I want to talk about was my nonfiction read, and this is called Unruly. This is literally about the kings and queens of England. And you're like, Lindsay, oh my gosh, that sounds so boring. Listen. This writer, this guy, apparently he's a comedian, he's on some TV shows. I know nothing about that. All I know is I picked up this book, and his authorial voice, the way he commands your attention as he talks about these things that probably would be very, very dry, he makes them so engaging. He makes them comical. I was laughing out loud during this book. Brilliantly written. Also, he narrates the audiobook. I honestly feel like this might be one of my favorite nonfictions of all time because the way that he wrote it was so incredibly engaging. There is that dry British humor that I do quite enjoy, but there's also some pop culture references, and there's also just like a general awareness of the time we live in and how we think and how we feel, and looking at historical things through that lens in such a comical way was just brilliant. It was so engaging. Oh, also there's a lot of Britishisms and a lot of like UK things. 90% of them went over my head. It didn't even matter. I enjoyed it so much. When I did get a reference though, I was like, I am so well cultured. Okay, I gotta be hydrated for this next one. Okay. Yeah. A smut book about a green man is my favorite book of the month. Maybe my favorite book of the year. No. Oh my god, who am I? I'm having an identity crisis. Okay, so this book is an adult romantasy about a girl who is being sent off with her dowry to marry a rich man to save her family from destitution, and the roguishly handsome orc man who finds her and agrees to carry her dowry trunk across the country for her so she can go get married. And they have shenanigans and they slowly fall in love, and it's basically the plot of Shrek, because Shrek and Fiona fall in love while he's taking her to go marry Farquaad. Okay, so here's the thing. I was gonna love this no matter what. It's a Critical Role book, which was like D&D Critical Role. They're a group of people who came together and filmed themselves playing D&D, and then they got really big, and then, you know, one day HarperCollins or whoever published this was like, hey, you know that like fake smut book that you had in your D&D campaign? We actually want to write it, and we're actually gonna put like a New York Times best-selling author like as the person who's writing it, and we're gonna make it a thing. As someone who's watched campaign 2 of Critical Role, I was like, oh yeah, like I was gonna love this no matter what. But then I actually read it, and it was actually the cutest, most wholesome, beautiful, precious baby angel child of God. Not really, because there is a lot of in here. It's just so cute, okay? It's so freaking cute. I have nothing else to say. It's 5 stars. I was trying to explain it to my husband. I was like, it's so freaking cute. I'm like, he's grieving. He just lost his mother, and she's like there. She's like the shoulder for him to cry on, and he's like getting in tune with his emotions. And he was like, isn't that the smut book about a troll? And I'm like, yes, but it's so romantic. Oh my god. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some life stuff in October, because it was a very busy month for me. First of all, talking about D&D, it was my little campaign, our little group's 1-year anniversary. We got together and we had just like a little potluck, and one of the girls made a cake, and it was just honestly so wholesome and so precious. I met this group just by going into a Barnes & Noble and like talking with one of the managers who had like a Critical Role pin on his little lanyard, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Critical Role. And then we just started talking, and then he was like, you should meet all the other people here that also love D&D and Critical Role. And like I just made friends with booksellers, and it was like, it's literally the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Like I made friends in real life. Like what? How did that happen? I also went to the Ren Fair, and I went as a hobbit, as I normally do. However, this time I made my own feet. And if you're looking at my feet right now, you owe me money, because no feet pics are free. Leave me $1 down below in my Ko-fi or in my Patreon. I got the feet off Amazon, and then I just painted them, and then like RIP the Barbie that I demolished to make the hair on the feet. And they're so big, I was able to fit a pair of tennis shoes inside. So I just like, you know, flop around. It was very fun wearing them to the festival, especially when people didn't notice at first. and then they noticed. It was very funny. I also wear my Hobbit costume to one of my friend's annual Halloween parties, which was really fun. And then Halloween night was a lot of festivities, a lot of food. I baked some cinnamon rolls from scratch, which was really fun. Never tried that before. They didn't turn out perfect, but I know what I can do next time to make them better. And we carved pumpkins and we had a movie night marathon and it was just perfect. I got to watch my favorite movie of all time, The Addams Family Values. Activity wise, I got into coloring. I had a bit more time. I showed you already the little coloring page that I did for the glass witch, but this was a really great thing to do while I was just listening to an audiobook or Halloween spooky music, was just to color that. And then I also colored a second page. I know, who am I? I love Jade Summers. She's one of my favorite cozy coloring book artists. In fact, she's the one who commissioned the glass, or I commissioned the Glass Witch and the Odds coloring pages from. And I did this cute little ghosty page. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I thought that was so fun. I made these two guys look like actual ghosts, and then that guy's the fake ghost fighting real ghosts. Oh my god, I have to show you Jason Thunderburger. Hold on. Wait, no, I showed you him in the intro. Okay, so you saw a little bit of Jason Thunderburger, excuse me. It's never Jason, it's Jason Thunderburger. This is him. This is how I crocheted him. Isn't he just precious? Look at him in his little lanky floobly body. I adore him. And the cowboy hat, I just thought he needed one, so I made that separately, but like in general, he's just like this really like cutesy frog. And I'm not gonna lie, I finished making him and I was like, oh, I could just give up my entire career and just make an Etsy shop surrounding making Jason Thunderburgers and like little weird accessories that go with him. There was a moment where I thought about it during my breakdown. But him and all my other fun little critters have just been keeping me sane as I, you know, work on decreasing my meds right now, which is something that I want to do. I'm very excited for it. I've been feeling really, really well for the past like 5 years, and I just felt like, you know, it was time to try to see if I now have the emotional toolkit to be able to handle, you know, anxiety in a healthier way, and yeah, just give it a shot. I'm not saying this is something to do for everyone, but I did talk to my doctor about it. Right now I'm doing well. If it does get bad again, I will definitely hop back on it, and I'm keeping track of everything. I literally am keeping how I'm feeling emotionally in a journal every day so I can like keep track of everything and make sure, you know, we don't go bad. But overall, it's a very exciting thing for me. I feel happy about it, and I'm excited to see like when I'm finally like at a true baseline, like if my body, where my body is, like can I handle it? Because I've been feeling so well. So that will be a fun little journey for us to experience together. Speaking of anxiety and breakdowns, I also cut 13 inches off my hair. Like, yes, I'm doing so well. I also went bald. You can't really tell because I have these little tiny space buns in, but I've been thinking about trimming my hair for a while, and my hair, now that I eat a lot healthier than I did 7 or so years ago, since I've been healthy the past handful of years, my hair grows really fast and I'm not too precious about cutting it. So for the first time since I've been like, I don't know, since I was like 15 years old, I actually have hair to my collarbone. And it is a vibe, you guys. Like, I am chic. I am breaking glass ceilings. I would be some kind of like really mean manager at some like high-class boutique who runs it like the Navy, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that was my October. I feel like I just sat here and overshared for like an hour, which I probably did. But like I said, I've been so chatty and I've just been wanting to talk with you guys, and like, I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling needy. So make sure you guys talk to me down in the comments and let me know how your October is going. If you'd like to order the Glass Witch or the Oz, I always have the links down below. You can also find the links to how to get a publishing deal down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.